So it's basically a synthesis. I believe, right? We're trying to pull it all together and make connections.
I'm good with taking it out because I take issue with the interdependence part on government. When you think of interdependence, it means their definition is that you need. And I don't want us to teach children that they need government taxes. They might come up with different innovative ways to provide for their communities what their communities need, rather than relying on a government's good.
I mean, the one plus in it is that if you look directly at the explain how decisions of household businesses and governments affect one another, we certainly can say that if governments decide to do some sort of tax policy, it can impact businesses and impact households. Or businesses or households decide not to, or businesses decide to expand. Well, I mean, there's lots in
Chrysler plant closing.
Yeah, Chrysler plant. And that's going to reduce the tax base. It's going to hurt the services that can be provided by.
I feel like we kind of talked about this in other places.
Okay, so can we vote to take it out?
Who wants it in? Seeing no thumbs, I say read it.
I think go ahead and read D over on the left-hand side. Though it's not anywhere K8. Not that we care after 5. I bet the other group needs it too. This one with technology.
So then, 5th grade, we have a little bit up above. No, just identify the role of technology in our economy.
I really wonder if it needs to be, so 5 and 8 are the two.
That's it. These are the only two left.
U.S. history.
Yeah, that's really a U.S. history
That's what it got.
tie into the economy. So does that need to be spread over 3 state, national?
I'm sure if you need that. I mean, for me, one part, I don't know if you want to say has changed from an agricultural economy to an industrial economy. I'm not sure you can still.
Say, is that even true
I
anymore?
think you want to just say how technology plays a role in the economy and how it causes the economy to change without going into real specifics.
So then we can start with something like identify, compare and contrast, analyze. That's where I think we can tackle that one. But I agree, I don't think that agricultural industrial works.
What's interesting is we don't talk about any of that beforehand. So this suddenly just is plopped right here.
Mm-hmm.
In no other grade do we talk about the economy.
But it kind of fits with the one underneath it. Changes in going from that Ron reading to what we are today.
And what can we combine the into?
Was that a result of an economic decision?
I mean, I just don't know why technology is staying. I mean, yes, it's changed things. Is it worthy enough to stand on its own?
Yes, the superintendent's Springfield School problem. Changing everything is pretty cool.
It is they put technology This is the history one.
So I think it has a roll down just history though.
What is it?
I'm not sure.
I'd say more history than economics.
Go to the left. What's the strand it's under?
Like you talk about the invention of the cycle, the telephone, and that's more of a timeline.
The role of technology in changing the.
Yes. They did it just like they did D. They kind of made it a concept and then picked a box and stuck it in there.
I'm wondering, because I feel like it's something that needs to be mentioned, especially because I do think there's probably came in Civil War.
So there it is.
We both got the 8th grade, it's the Civil War.
Right.
Yeah.
How technology changed the way we do things.
But I even think, and I don't know when they do things like employment and labor, but the fact that I now go to the ATM instead of ever going to a bank teller, or I go through a self-checkout line in the grocery store as opposed to actually going and having a person check me out. That impacts the economy, it impacts the labor force.
Yeah, this is, I think, though, really speaks more just to.
I'm just saying technology in general, with the way it does have an impact on the economy.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, I don't know if it's,
But this is really about the change of from agriculture to industrial economy, and now we try to say post-industrial economy.
right. So I'm saying, I don't know if we could, I'm saying that we want to figure out some way to include technology and those types of advances into it, and how, just knowing it does impact the economy in some way, shape, or form, or do we just say we forget about it altogether? The agricultural to industrial, I think, unless you want to talk about how it impacted historically.
Part of understanding the Civil War is technology, but that's communication.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's lots of things.
right,
Yeah, that's, I know, I'm
it's
wondering.
not just, it's the way.
But to me, that's a piece of the Civil War, not a standalone. Maybe.
I almost want to do identify how the economy has changed, and just take out the technology part. Because there are lots of drivers to the economy. Technology is not the only driver of technology. Economy. It's an important driver.
But they're looking at it as one of the major
Yeah,
concepts.
it is the,
Is it-
yeah.
Is it my question is it a concept that
Probably
needs?
more so now than
It used to be.
100 years ago. I mean, just think of the technology has changed so much in the last 100 years. It's went completely different.
I think it's just been moderate. But even, I mean, I'm not sure, I think we look at a different type of technology. But for example, when you move from a combine, changed the way, now you no longer need as many people into a farm, so then what they do, they move to an urban society and they start to, so then things change from there. So it's different. We think of technology maybe as computers and the online world, but I think there's a consistent flow of this, that even all the way down to the eventually is that there's so many throughout history that,
The invention of the wheel.
right, they fire,
Yeah.
but
The economy, I mean, you just go all through
trains, boats,
steam power.
So I like the technology in there, but from an agriculture economy to an industrial economy, that doesn't even,
Should
Then
we say
how
from
could
past to present?
that's what I was thinking, more of a
does
broader.
that work, Rick?
We
Because
can't say,
Are you looking at
What about
changing the
industrial?
concept, idea, E, and then going from there? Is that?
yeah, we would have to, because
Right.
that's it's the exact same thing.
So identify the role of technology in our economy and how our economy has changed
So-
from past to present.
If we were looking at just, we talk about changing, what other factors besides technology would you think of?
Population growth. Knowledge.
Medicine? Now, I think population growth, I'm just trying to figure out what are those other,
Yeah.
because if you did, like, if you change this to changing the economy, the concept was how the economy has changed over time. And you could even say through factors such as because of factors such as technology and and it could go with fourth, fifth grade, and you could do it as but
Movements, people.
yeah, you could literally just almost have something. The conversation we just went through from early Dan all the way, I think, are those not important things for kids to be thinking about, and then start to think about whatever those next pieces of.
Kathy, what have you done with this?
So Patrick, when you say identify the role of technology and other factors in our economy,
Or identify factors that lead to a changing economy.
I think it's important to think of
Past
this.
and
If I think about what is it that I want kids to kind of get, I'd like us to understand that when we talk about an economy, it's not necessarily any one thing, and there's multiple, like it could have been agriculture, there's different forms that drive that economy, especially as you may know, very well, like nations develop. It's like the conversation as to right now, why are people not wanting to limit fossil fuels in, say, China? And part of their rationale for not wanting to is that's how they're driving a lot of their factories and economic production. They're in a different setup. I'm not much going to go into that. I'm just saying that I want to know that the way it is not the way it always has been, the way it always will be. And so that there's, how to understand that technology and people and what we do and our ideas and innovations are what continue to drive it and push it forward.
but identify the factors that have led to change in our economy over time.
I just think it's actually more important than one little box is actually the as I read this and think about it, I think it's a bigger concept than just this.
Right,
And I don't
in
know
one
what
box,
the-
I agree with you. When I was writing it out, that's one of the things, I think this is a big concept.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is the first place where the term economy shows up. What is an economy?
What's the concept again down at
It reads says that.
It's that box.
that? It says that exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really directly the relationships, not just anything, it's really directly related to
Technology.
technology.
Yeah, this was, we got to talk about how important technology is.
See, I think you could do it with state. Maybe, so I think it could at least go to third grade, start thinking about
I agree.
just how those things have changed.
Just have to write what that looks like. What's the wording?
Identify the factors that influence our economy. That's
Because there are, if you're in Iowa,
I know you don't like, oh, I said identify. That was what that wince was. Describe the
No, I think
factors,
Right?
explain the factors.
Identify does not get it
because
right.
is this true? I mean, could, Aaron, if I asked you, if you look at your local community, is that true? Is that a true statement for your community?
Is it technology that changed your economy?
Or is your economy still an agricultural economy?
Still agriculture economy, right?
That has technology changed?
How it's done, yes. But it hasn't changed it to an industrial
It
economy.
hasn't. So how does,
Because, yes,
Even
technology has changed how the farming's done, because they're
Still
using
farming.
GPS on their tractors and.
Right. But even as I'm looking at this, I think that's almost, now that even as I read it, it's almost
so maybe
Let's
it's
talk about
the
short time in our
let's talk about,
history.
let's be talking about
changes,
national.
maybe it's maybe it's the reverse. Something about how the changes in technology influence the economy or
I
impact
think
the
it-
economy.
I think it has to be.
How do I add it? How do I enter a line? Is it on here?
Just use that.
I think in some ways it does a disservice to certain places. Like it ignores the fact that if you were in a rural town that isn't agricultural based, that's not even a true statement for your community.
There isn't any industrial. We don't get tax money from anyone, any factories. necessarily.
I think that is talking national.
It is. But I think when we talk about our economy, that's a pretty, it's just a big statement. Not that, I mean, of course it does. I mean, there's a national, farmers are trading in commodities, and there's a commodity market for each of those things. It's a bigger national market.
I think about lobbying
How'd
and
that?
education, it's changed
Well, more
from
influence
the crop bill
changes
being the major influencer to the cookie.
instead of the change,
Influence changes.
influence changes in our.
And then maybe we can walk it back to the state as well.
So you're going to change it from,
Technology focus. Because it would be one of the factors. I mean, you would say it would be one of the factors.
That's what I was gonna say,
Could you put the colon or
No, this is
parentheses?
fifth grade, right?
Mhm.
And put technology, movement of people.
Population.
I would say even just global market. I mean, you've expanded it, over time we've expanded from what was probably at one point in time a very local market to a bigger market to, so now it's
Now we're trying to go back to
trading it.
those places.
For a while, I'm sure we saw it. I grew up in central Illinois, everything with ADM, when ADM was known as the supermarket to the world, and every day went all over the place. So even though you were growing soybeans in Minneapolis, they weren't necessarily the same.
I think this is where we really adding global awareness.
How about that?
Just so you know, under number 3, which I believe is history, there's an entire row for understanding economic concepts.
In history.
There's an entire row that is completely blank, K through 8. So I guess it's what works for you is if you want to leave it here, or you want to leave it there, but I don't think it should be in both. But then
So you're
again,
saying
also,
drop this and then,
no,
Is it there?
I'm just letting you know it's there, it exists. But it also, underneath it, has a row for principles and purposes of government in the history.
but there's nothing in it.
No, they're both completely blank. It's
So where's the
page,
one that's changes
on the
the
document
communication
online.
budget?
it's on page 12. I knew I had seen it somewhere else. I just couldn't find it. And it also has, under history, principles of the republic, economic development in the United States. But then again, there's blank sheets.
How do we feel about this? Explain the factors that influence changes in our nation's economy, technology, movement, people, resources, etc.
So what are you gonna do with the bigger concept at the end?
Oh, we would have to edit that
Change it,
Change it,
yeah.
change it to,
to that.
Or
Something like that.
combination thing.
Yeah.
Explain factors.
The factors that influence change.
But are we okay with this language, or should it be explain the factors that have influenced changes in our nation's
How about
economy, past and
explain,
present?
well, how about explain the factors past and present that influence the, yeah, I don't know, it's not like that.
Can I ask, do we want to leave it here?
that's what I'm,
Or do we
Having
leave it
trouble
at fourth grade?
I think it needs to be.
Well, I think we do it
fourth
again,
and-
too.
Yeah, it has to be more than one.
But I'm wondering, is it the same?
It would be, I think it would be good at least at the state level, and then at, which we have.
Third.
Yeah,
Right,
Third,
we'll
fourth,
take a year off, and then fifth grade, even.
or
Third and fifth.
repeat
at
it third,
least.
fourth, and fifth. I'd be fine with that.
But let's get the language on this one right first. So we're gonna do factors that have, huh?
I'm still hung up with fourth grade. Because
Well,
in
under
this
the
one,
history part, it has Civil War in 4th grade.
the only reason why I'm mentioning that is because if we're going up until now, and even thinking about what could be coming next, are we going to address that if we stop at Civil War in 5th grade? Or how does that fit into the grand scheme of everything else? Or do we not go that far and just talk about how it's changed in the future, in the past? Like are we talking about all the way up to now, and how does that fit?
This is why I don't know if there's enough there for this road to stand on its own. Because to me, you're talking about how these factors influence change in the economy over time. To me, that's easier to integrate through the history stream. And give me specific examples of how they changed and what we're gonna want them to talk about. If we stick it here, I don't know how we're gonna move horizontally with it. Or what that's gonna look like. But if we put it in the history strand, we could address the things around it, I guess.
But again, I guess you don't have to teach it economics without teaching history. You could do
Right.
both at the same time. So even if it was here, I'm just wondering if it doesn't actually fit better in fourth grade, and then you pull it back to the state in third, pull it back, if you want to look at even local in second. And then in fifth grade, whether we do anything with it, I'm just wondering if we're going to go all the way up through past and present, does it fit better with fourth grade? And in fifth grade, we're still able to then talk about it and identify spots in history where that, but if you want to look at it, so I'm just wondering if we're going to go all the way to the present, where does it fit better?
It fits really well in fifth grade, I think, because the earlier standard, which is apply the following economic concepts. So it actually allows you to bridge, and see if I can get there without screwing everything up this time. Yeah, the A, B, C, and D, which is above, right there. So it provides another vehicle to use those concepts.
I would be fine with keeping it as it's written right this moment and adding it to fourth and then doing something with it third regarding the state.
Then it's a second for Mary. Do we have a third?
If there are teachers who aren't very interdisciplinary in the way they look at it, we could put it just in history or just here. But I think with the economy, we needed, this was like one of the overarching pieces of economics. In my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of simplistic. We pull everything together. All the concepts become applied to something.
When we start looking at the bottom parts, I think that's probably at the fifth grade level, that's a 3, where fourth grade maybe be okay at 2, and third grade maybe be okay at 1. But
So are we good with this at 5? Call the question again. I got 1 thumbs up, 2, 3, 4. Waiting for the ladies.
I'll be like you for now. I'll tolerate it, but I'm not on it.
Kathy?
yes.
I just think it's specific to technology, the movement of people and resources bothers me.
The way it used to be, or the way it is,
No,
the way it's changed now?
I just,
You want it to be just specific to technology.
I kind of,
Okay.
What would be, convince us why it should be?
because I think it's a unique characteristic.
So you get to teach it. It's there.
So give me an example of a way that the economy changed that wasn't a result of technology and solely the result of movement of people.
Give me an example where it was solely a result of technology.
No, that's not what I.
I think farming, I would say that, like, we were just talking about farming, is the fact that you've got fewer people that had it, which was the reason for maybe them moving.
No, here, I'll give you a perfect example.
What I would
The
say-
migration of blacks from the south to the north had nothing to do with technology. And it completely changed the economy.
It did.
The technology did not change during that time period.
I mean, but I would see the other part I was thinking of was the fact that you have certain people that left. Let's say you are the Pilgrims and you leave for religious persecution, where you came from, and so you move to Plymouth. What ends up going on in that community may be different, just because those people came there with different tools and different things. Now that would be technology. So how much you can do it without? But I don't know. I mean, but.
I think the economy changes with the combination of those things. So during the Dust Bowl, the change of resources, really, due to weather, that influenced the nation's economy and influenced the government's role in the economy. I mean, so there were some major shifts that we've never gone back from, based off of a need of people. No, we're just waiting to see if you're.
Ponder.
I'm looking, I'm holding that by. I'm just curious.
I think there's definitely going to be some historical tentacles that reach into all. I don't think you can. I think there's going to be some of those things that just kind of have to overlap a little bit.
Which is the argument for moving it to history.
Right.
It's just the way my brain is compartmentalized, what, it doesn't fit here.
And if we,
But if we're focusing on economic changes over a period of
I
time.
know, but we're gonna have that problem with all history, because we're gonna have the government in history, and the economics in history, and the movements, and, I mean, all these things we've already addressed. The bigger picture is history, these are pieces of it. So how much do
say we
you break
scrap
out,
all
how
that
much do you
down and just look at history.
put in? No, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I do.
And now I realize why they left all that blank, because who in the heck would want it? I would just like to see it in one place or the other.
What's,
And I'm just not convinced it really fits right now.
what's 612 then?
Nothing,
Oh, yeah, those are all the blank pages, like literally just
even
blank.
for both them, all in the right.
So then I'm thinking,
8 or even in the cleats?
look at this, G-O, O
So
through
K-12, they
C
don't talk
through.
about it. Why is it even?
And I guess that's where I'm hung at right now.
Economics.
Yeah, J through Z is completely blank, K through 8. But a lot of it
So it's
is,
912.
a lot of it's economics though. It's understanding economic concepts, economic development in the United States, and what's not economic is government. Understanding effects of economic institutes, knowledge of economic institutes. Yeah, it has nothing to do with us.
Kathy, you gonna get the cleaves on there?
What?
Get the cleaves on there.
Here?
Uh-huh. Can you pull those up and see if it's inside
So the
there?
part of it makes me think, if it's standing so alone, it would fit better somewhere else.
Even
Now, if
under
it's not
that
important.
strand,
Yeah.
there is nothing, that's what I said. There's
Even in the
nothing.
cleave? There's nothing?
Nope,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, it ends at 8.
So there's nothing.
E and F both.
interesting.
And then I don't even know what their rationale for that is at this point. Can't figure it out. Unless they think they've discussed it elsewhere.
I mean, me personally, I'm kind of okay with leaving it in economics because we do realize that about third grade, I feel like we also change our focus one way or the other, good or bad, more towards a historical viewpoint of the state and of the nation. So considering that everything, the reason why I think everything is kind of different, everything's kind of done through history is because we changed that and start looking at it literally from when we made that theme, that historical setup.
And then see, I think I can make the point of second grade and Indians and people moving around. I mean, there's your technology, people and resources, and you can relate it to third, and you can relate it to fourth, and relate it to fifth. So it's not, to me, I don't think introducing it, where are we at, fourth?
Oh, yeah, I would, no,
I
you're
don't
right.
think introducing it at fourth.
Third.
I think the distinction though is here they're talking about an economy, right, an economic
Right.
construct, not just a historical movement of things. And that's my biggest problem with it, is that we don't really talk about what is an economy until we get here.
Okay,
Was there a Native American society that set up an economy? When they had their, did they?
Well, there was a bartering system.
oh, they have their own, right.
Forms of economy.
Okay,
We
exactly.
don't need to talk about it.
It looks different.
I'm fine with like putting it in yellow and flagging it that it has the possibility to be moved or changed later.
Which means very green.
There you go. Whatever color.
Are you ready
that
to take
is.
back over?
Yeah.
Unless you want to go more.
No, I'm cool.
I just think some of these things are gonna make more sense, or maybe need to be moved when we get to the history part. Or maybe they're perfect, whatever.
That's why he gets here early and tries them all out.
Decided, this is the one I want.
But that is the start of it. This is the first place we mentioned economy and economic strand, so we never want to think, why not just have a concept of economy? And how do we want to make that look? Or do we not want to do that?
I mean, what is an economy and
Well,
define
I
economy?
mean, that's what I'm trying to,
Various forms of economy?
well, I don't know,
That's
what
what
I'm
we're talking about,
asking.
forms of economy.
because that's kind of what you're saying right in there.
Industrial economy.
But it's just not like, spread out is kind of like just a problem to me right now.
Right.
I just can't get it. But it was just me, that's okay.
And economics class, that's a lot of what they, that is usually where it starts. Like, you take economics 101, they start with all that good stuff.
But if our kids have a,
Not really.
our kids have these
You're gonna
economic
reach in
standards,
for
and they don't know what an economy is.
And here,
Yeah, instead of nations, it'd be region.
in a regional economies, should that be plural?
Oh, what?
What are you looking at?
There's a line in your face, is that noises? Is there something Kathy's?
Here's
I
one.
got something wrong with that.
Here's one.
Chinese didn't.
Yeah.
One of the two.
What grade level is that?
That's fourth.
The first one?
Third.
First one's third.
That's why I didn't count them, but it was. That's the reason I didn't count them.
And then Patrick was saying, should we introduce, or Laura, should we introduce the concept of what an economy is?
I would think since we're trying to teach economic concepts, it might be smart.
And I'm not talking go economy 101 college level.
Right,
I'm talking
right.
just the very basic.
That makes sense.
How about, do we lay out concepts, we lay out important concepts of economical concepts, but defining an economy is not actually.
Third grade too early? Because there we're dealing with public goods, public and private goods and services, natural capital, human resources, cost benefit analysis, dealing with lots of elements.
Did you say second or third?
That was third.
So is E
Yes.
factors that influence the economy?
It's funny, yeah, as I pulled up, I just Googled economics 101 syllabus. It lays it out, I mean, it's fairly similar. It starts off with introduction to economics, the economic way of thinking is the first lesson. Comparative advantage in trade, supply and demand. Yeah, talk about the market.
I pulled up the junior achievement stuff too. And looked at it, and it's just very easy to read. And it's got a lot of the same things we have, just not necessarily the same order.
Which later, towards the bottom is where that savings investment.
But see, like you said, market, did we talk about market? I mean, economics.
Market outcomes in the presence of taxes, subsidies, and pricing.
would think if we introduced the idea of the economy in third grade, that would be the earliest.
Because you have private public goods then?
Yeah, you have private
And your
public
resources?
goods and resources.
You think you can't, I don't think you can stop at third though. I think you're gonna have to take it over to at least four.
Certainly, well, it probably goes into that fifth column too, right? That such as, define all these different concepts.
Explain how the economic concepts affect, so what would be the economic concept of the economy?
So what would we say?
I don't think it's so much trying to balance the renewable resources of the country against the ones that come from consumers. It's a country or region. It deals with three key issues: what is produced, how it is produced, and who is what is produced.
Which we've dealt with all that here.
Yep.
So
we're
really,
ready for it.
third grade is where it should fit.
So I want them to know what things make up an economy. I want to it's
Describe.
comprised of, or
To describe.
This is Wikipedia. System consists of the production, distribution, trade, and consumption of limited goods and services by different agents in a given geographical location. Well, let's just play and see how would we expect it to be described, and then decide where that would be appropriate. Because those are pretty. I would have a hard time hearing a third grader do that kind of.
Right.
Okay, I'll take a shot. It'll be really simple, and you guys can make it better. Define the parts of an economy, of the state's economy.
Okay, now define it. So what would you?
Define it. It would be the producers, consumers, resources,
goods and services.
goods and services. It would be the exchange between producers and consumers of goods and services. Public and private goods and services. So it uses all of
In
them.
order to certainly not before fourth, because they don't have all of those components until fourth grade.
Or they
They
did it in
haven't.
third.
They do it third. It'd be at the
Where do
end
they
of
do
third.
goods and services, private, sell goods and services?
Here is really where,
That's the word origin according to Google here, that it's came from the Greek and it's essentially means made at your house. Then literally goes household management.
What people produce and the relations that make that production possible. Here's
Management
another
of
one.
material resources, terms, the wealth and resources of a country or region, especially in terms of production and consumption of goods and services.
So if we did it at third grade, it would be define or describe the parts of the state's economy, the elements of the state's economy, of Missouri's economy.
Entire network of producers, distributors, and consumers of goods and services in a locale, region, or national community.
so what did you say? Let me throw that down.
Describe the elements of the state of Missouri's economy. Describe the major elements of Missouri's economy. How's that?
businesses, producers, consumers of goods and services. So if we say, when we talk about an economy, what do we?
Letters are flip-flop and no
It's the exchange of
There's
goods
an
and
extra
services.
Thank you.
Is it that really low? I think when we get all the different parts, that becomes pretty difficult. Just wondering if it's not just, when we talk, we're gonna be talking about economies, we're talking about economics, we're talking about that, what exactly is an economy? What define an economy?
see if we can find it.
So I was
Because the first thing teachers can do is give
I thought they were looking in the glossary.
is economic glossary from Scholastic.
There we go.
If you can. Oh, no, it's just the glossary of economic terms. Let's see, I don't think, oh, here it is. Oh, it's a long one. The way a country manages its money and resources, such as workers and lands, to produce, buy, and sell goods and services. Goods are products, services are blah, blah, blah. The United States has a free market economy. The price of each good is determined by a man.
You need to do this.
Which one? The way a country manages its money and resources to produce, buy, and sell goods and services.
you need to take out the word country. Let's just put it way up. Locale, way, region. Sometimes you could, and that would give you the fact that there may be, maybe we're going in one direction. We are on the start.
Maybe it's a decision question. How does the region mean that
I know there's some I mean, they're all interrelated, but
Don't confuse curriculum and standard.
I just disagree with you on that. Alden.
No.
I
know
think
you
they're
do.
inseparable, and
I
I
know
think
you
that's
do.
where our state made a mistake in separating out some of the, I don't know.
But the difference is if we're saying we want every kid to know, I feel like we're talking about the
Okay,
economy
I'm
like we,
trying
like,
to think.
if we're gonna have kids talking about economic terms, but not actually even knowing what an economy is, that seems like we're missing something. So I'm just thinking, does it fit to go with a region and using it, you know, can we give, I don't know if it's in the glossary or somewhere in there, have students define economy, and it's in the glossary with this type of definition, you know, students should know the definition of economy.
You bolded and could.
Okay, according to Kids Wordsmith, it says the careful use of money, resources, for means of production. I mean, you can make the definition as long or short as you find.
And I'm
So
not-
we should say define,
Define
Economy.
economy,
and
identify
just be
economy.
done with it, and then put economy in there.
Marzana would say you never just define.
Who would say? Marzano, how many is he spending on that? Okay, enough said.
I mean, he's probably been in lots of classrooms.
You know exactly what I meant.
So what's the problem with what's up there?
I have a hard time with the major elements. Because I think that leads, and when I say major, then I need to know what you consider major versus what's not a major element. And then I'm gonna start figuring out, do I just wanna name the pieces of an economy, or am I actually saying what an economy is? Now, I know that could be one and the same, but it doesn't actually define economy, it's just labeling all the different pieces that could play a role.
Then how about
Maybe
define,
describe an economy as the way in which goods and services are produced, sold, and bought in a region or country. Or in a country or region.
but there's your definition, now we need a student outcome for that. So it would be define economy and, because we don't just want to define. explains how it relates to.
I don't think we're stopping at defining it just because it's all in this one piece. So I think you can define it, and then we're doing an awful lot more with an economy.
Down lower.
Right.
We are down lower.
And I don't think that, if this was all we had, was define economy and then we stopped and moved on to something else, I think that's one thing. But I think, like, the reason why,
I prefer identify.
I mean, like, the reason why I think we need to define it, the only reason why I think we need to define it is because we do all this other stuff underneath it, but we haven't defined it. So,
I agree.
so I'm wondering, as long as,
So you're saying just put define an economy.
I think we're
right
probably
here.
overly complicated, and all I really would like is for
Yeah.
some point in time for them to actually start thinking about this, that each of all the stuff we have been talking about is just parts of a whole, but we haven't ever actually identified the whole.
It's about describe an economy, or what an economy is, you know, when identify. Explain what an economy is.
No, in the sense of preposition. Because it's not a preposition, actually.
We should run a camera.
United States.
Prepositions that they scroll.
Squirrels can go up, under, around, through.
Scroll guys.
You said squirrel?
Prepositions are things that's
So you
going to
see
do.
the mouse in the house,
Oh.
the thing go through the house or a table, go underneath the
There's
table,
this
over the
one.
door, you know.
And we usually did it around the squirrel, around the baseball game. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'll do. Around the
Around,
squirrel.
through, under, above.
Absolutely, you can go under the baseball player, over the baseball player, and you go against the baseball player.
Concept of economy.
You gotta make it stick. And they're like, oh, how do we make it that?
And the
So
question-
that's where after the prepositions.
When the question came up to say, well, can they do it? Can the mouse do it? Yeah, there you go, see?
I don't know how you can put it without putting there, without
The parts of the
including it
economy.
in the definition itself, somewhat in the outcome.
Define the parts of an economy.
Yeah,
Define the parts of an economy and how it works. Define the relationship, no, trying to go back to explain the relationship of, no,
no, you're gonna either define and describe it, and then just bold it, put it in the
Yeah.
glossary.
I'm good with either one.
Let's do that.
How about define the parts of an economy? No, parts.
Part
You
is
just
where
want
I-
to define economy?
Yes.
Fair
Well,
enough.
aren't we doing all
I'm
the
good.
parts?
That's what I-
It's like, we're giving them the puzzle pieces, and then we're gonna
Without-
have them
without the
put the
picture.
puzzle together.
We need the box cover. I'm not one of those guys that does the puzzle without the box cover. Yeah, no, yeah, I want to see that picture, I can't do that.
We good?
I don't have these on, let's do it. Just leave it and go.
We can come back to it.
But then maybe you should put a
I
little
think
note
we
that
should put
says,
some
but-
holding language for what goes in the glossary though.
You think the glossaries are gonna be.
Because like this definition, producing, distributing, and consuming wealth in an organization. And then it says organizations include a household, a government, a business, and
I like use of money resources.
To even just know the definition of economy.
Right, but aren't you saying what definition we could use?
We'll put that in the glossary.
we need to add it to the glossary somewhere.
So under that, put.
Of course,
glossary.
I guess we're not necessarily creating the glossary.
Oh, I think we should create everything we want to create. And
Be
we're
all
gonna do
kinds
these
of
every
units. Laura said that.
You absolutely can.
You can do,
Oh, I'm turning this into a.
You can do a model, like a model curriculum, and put an example of a model curriculum with it, if you want to build a model curriculum. Just, nobody, you're not saying it has to use it, but you're giving examples
Right.
of what could be used.
like North Carolina unpacks this into a friendlier version, I want this unpacked too. And I don't care to do it. If they don't wanna use it, they don't have to use it, but at least it's done.
The hard thing is that they should go hand in hand.
They really
Because
should.
if it's not unpackable,
It's not gonna be any good.
exactly, and you don't know that it's unpackable until
Until
you
you
try to
unpack
unpack
it.
it.
So our unpacking of it would be like our double checking our work. Just saying.
So, Tony, you need to leave early, don't you?
Oh, about 10 minutes.
Did we ever nail down dates?
He emailed us all, we were all supposed to respond.
We've got one
Yeah.
standard left.
I-
One.
I know, come on.
This one right here.
And I'll be honest with you, I feel like we've already done this one.
I felt like that was actually above when we just took it out, or we looked at the same exact language multiple times.
I think it's something that needed to be in 6th, so that they went ahead and stuck the same thing in 5 through 8.
I just feel like we talked about, where did we talked about economic
added
decisions
economic
with
decisions.
all the cost benefit
That's B.
analysis.
B is understanding the concept of economic decisions.
Alright, so why
We broke
did
it
this
down
get-
into personal and public. So we take it out, put it in red.
Make it red.
Even the F, like the whole.
Isn't it,
Yeah,
isn't that
yeah,
what we talked about with cost benefit
No, that's
analysis?
the whole thing under B.
So that'd be written. So that'd be done.
Okay, your suggestion was end of February.
Well, I know Craig sent those, I was just wondering if we wanted to look at, because those are, we're probably gonna be getting into everybody's spring break, and I don't know when. I don't know when everybody's spring breaks are. Ours is the 18th or something like
Our,
that.
the Monday of ours is the 16th, so it's the 16th or the 20th.
That must be when ours is too.
Yeah, whenever yours is, I'm cool as long as, all I can do is schedule with you.
Ours is not till the 30th.
Where's that next week?
I think if we skip February and we wait to the end of March, that's too long. And like Kathy and I were talking about, it seems like the first day, it's so hard just to get the wheels spinning. And then I feel like the second day, once we get going, it's just time to leave. Well, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the way my brain processes. So I think we need to do February. We can. That's my proposal. You want the last week of February?
That's 4 weeks. Craig did say Julie might not be able to make the last week of February.
Well, he said whatever Julie can't make, then Ralph can't make, I think.
But he didn't put that as
Ours are the 16th.
the last week of February.
No, but we talked on the way to
But
lunch.
there's also no school on the 13th because of the conference.
She was saying you did time
The 13th is the conference, yeah.
Thoughts on the last week of February?
That works.
Actually, we do the 25th.
Well,
You can't do
the
the
26th,
26th?
27th works.
So, you guys know, I like Thursday, Fridays.
I do
much better,
too.
but
26th, 27th.
Yeah, I would rather, Thursday, Fridays work for me, 26, 27 works for me.
I can make that.
Kathy, does that work for you? Tanya?
Yes.
Aaron? Okay, so we are all good with February 26th and 27th.
Friday, check.
All of us here. What about March? Well, yeah, but at least we can tell Craig, hey, this is where we're all good, and he can do whatever he wants to. Oh, I know.
I don't.
So what do you think about
They
in
have
March?
Wait, 26th, 27th again, or what?
I was thinking earlier because they're gonna be reviewing for all their tests towards the end of March, because testing for their opens in April. So if we were gonna do March, I was thinking, Craig, we had all said, all of us in this room are good for February 26th and 27th, which is a Thursday, Friday.
So then you're saying maybe just wait only a couple weeks and come back again?
I don't know.
Oh, I was just trying to.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm just trying to say, I don't,
I think the end of March.
Wish
though,
we knew
would
the
be
test
spring
and
break.
window.
spring breaks
What would
and
people-
crunch time before the math test, right?
I know, well, the map testing window
Is that not
is
April?
end of April, beginning of May.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's much later.
Yeah, it's
So,
later.
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
It's the end of April, beginning of May.
So I was, maybe the first week of the worst.
Well, we're doing 26, 27, right? If we do that in February, then then we're talking about the very next week is the first week of March. So it'd be back to that week.
What if we did 19, 20 in February?
19th and 20th.
I can't do it.
The 19th.
12/13?
No, I cannot.
Next week?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Tomorrow? It's too
Oh,
soon.
who can't do the 26th and 27th?
We all can.
We all can.
I like
We
that.
here can.
I like,
We
For
all,
February.
right here for February.
February.
do we set February and then look at it from there?
That's what I was gonna say, maybe we ought to wait because we don't know when we're gonna start our testing in our schools and
I'm cool with that.
they're,
Well, I know
Well,
our,
we know
Jesse,
you,
let's
we
just
know you
not-
can't start before then because the state window.
Well, when does the state?
I know, but I'm
I
thinking
know
that
ours,
You're thinking late April?
our
we have
window.
other testing besides the state testing.
Because you
Yeah.
got something else besides the second grade, haven't you? I mean, let's say,
We're doing the Stanford 10, plus we do a discovery test, plus we have to do the RA test.
I just thought the earlier we could do it, the better we're going to get, like, maybe not be such a price in the dungeon.
I've got Lisa Map starting on April 20th.
Oh, that's
Oh.
fantastic.
So,
So March is,
We gotta leave March open?
I think March is gonna be tough. I think we did 26th and 27th, we're not gonna do it next week, and those last 2 weeks people are gonna be on spring break.
well,
what's wrong with 26, 27 of March?
Oh, I think we can do the 26th of February, right? 26th, 27th
Well,
of
they're both
February.
the same. They're both Thursday, Fridays.
All right, are you talking February or March?
February, we said we could all do it.
All right.
March, do you want to do 26, 27?
I can.
I
on
can too.
the 23rd, 24th was what I had sent to people
In March?
originally. I just sent you the email earlier today.
Oh,
But if we're meeting in February, then maybe we do want to push it back. I was just trying to get it close to the 6-week window. Did you say the 26th and 27th?
mm-hmm. Of March?
Mm-hmm.
That would be 6 weeks for.
I'm open the 26th and 27th.
Does that work for anyone else?
Yeah. Me?
Is that in
Ours
addition
is
to
the
February?
first.
Yes.
I think so.
Sure.
Second, third, fourth,
And then
fifth,
we can,
sixth.
that'll
No,
be really easy to
ours is the
remember.
9th.
Yeah.
Okay.
When's your spring break?
The 16th through the 20th?
And ours is the 9th and the 13th.
Like when's the 30th?
Which one is great, March 30th through the 3rd?
That's when ours is.
No, so
Is that
that's
Good
for
Friday?
Easter.
Yeah.
Well, we get
Friday.
Easter
We always block over
Yeah,
the
We
night.
get Good
Okay,
Friday.
good work, everyone.
It's okay, fine.
Are you done?
That's what I'm saying.
So are we
Like,
gonna
did
send
y'all
y'all
finish this?
Yes?
Oh, I didn't know you finished.
We just deleted everything.
Then we
Only
said
because it was repeated earlier.
Craig Carson
Not
said-
And
everything.
how they wanted to.
We typed
Not everything.
We typed in
Just
Craig
the
Carson
last
says
one.
all this is worthless.
Just the last.
Just that F part, because we'd already touched on it, and then
Okay.
So I'm sorry, did we have both those dates, or are you gonna verify with some of the other people that those are good dates, or? are
I'll
we-
send out an email. So somebody better,
26th, 27th of February and March.
perfect.
Those are the plan.
That's the plan.
26th and
We'll email everybody
27th.
else, make sure they come.
Maybe we could send an email about your request right now, just send
That's
it.
why
I
I
will, I'm
was
gonna go
asking
upstairs.
dates.
I'm gonna go upstairs and take
Where
care
do
of
we
it.
want it, where do
We will
want it
take
wet?
anything but this. Yeah, you're friends with the commissioner, so go up there and tell
Yeah,
her.
come on.
Yeah.
We
come
paid
on.
our-
Go
we
give
paid
her
our
a
dues
hug
down
and
here.
say we want a better room.
I couldn't touch her.
She probably thinking I
You
should.
should say,
She probably wants the same thing.
Hey, are we
The
done?
19th, I thought, yeah.
She probably wants better office too.
What was it?